Hello my beautiful friends, it's Mimi here today and I'm super happy and grateful to be here today because today I'm gonna talk about how you can have your best year ever, and also because today, yay, I have something special to share with you guys. We have launched our new product called the Best Year Journal, and I'm gonna walk you through the whole journal and share with you on how you can do this at home yourself. This practice, this exercise is something that Alex and I have been doing now for probably about 9 years, and it has evolved quite a lot in the last 9 years. We felt like we needed something at the end of the year or in spring, because we've done it at various times during the year to review the year, which I think is so important. Look at what has happened, look at the memories, look at the lessons, life lessons, business lessons, and then also plan the year ahead. So create the vision for the following year, because vision and creating vision is extremely important if you want to live the life of your dreams. Without vision, people perish. I believe that's Tony Robbins' quote. And another quote that I really think about quite a lot sometimes when I feel lazy to do this exercise, because it is quite extensive and deep. It might take you a few days or maybe even a week or even a couple of weeks to do this exercise. But I always think about this: if you fail to plan, that means you plan to fail. And you kind of go in the whole rat race. You keep doing the same things and having the same experiences and living the same life. And yet you know you're capable of so much more, capable of doing so much more, experiencing so much more, being so much more. So basically this exercise and this practice can get you there. And the reason I'm so sure about that, of course, is because Alex and I, like I said, have been doing this for years. And in the last few years, I have shared that this is something that I do on Instagram. Maybe the first time I shared it with you guys was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember so many of you guys asked me to share the practice. And I felt like it still needed some work because we were doing the review and the visioning, but we didn't follow through the goals. Oftentimes as the year began, we kind of just, we still did the things, but it wasn't a smooth practice. So I wanted to make sure we have a really smooth practice, and then we realized it would just be so much better to have it in a journal, because every year when we personally did the practice, we had to rewrite the questions and rewrite everything, and that would take a lot of time. So that's how this beautiful journal, yay, I can't believe it's here. Super exciting. That's how it was born. And it's probably going to be a long video because, guys, I'll go through everything. Get yourself a cup of tea. I already have mine. And we are going to get started. Also, grab maybe a notebook and a pen. If you already have the Best Year Journal, then just have it ready to make some notes if you need to. And let's begin. All right, so before I begin going to the content of the journal, I just want to talk a little bit about the physical journal. And, it did take us over a year, like I mentioned before, to create this journal. Not only while we were working on the content, we still had to find the right paper, because as you guys know, one of the biggest initiatives in my own life is to, be more mindful about plastic usage, paper usage, and just be more sustainable. And this is a big mission of intelligent change as well. So I'm excited to announce that this beautiful journal is printed on 100% carbon neutral recycled paper. It's made in Italy, so it's printed in Italy and made in Italy. And the cover is 100% cotton. So when this journal one day will be at the end of its life cycle, it will be completely compostable, which is great. And the paper obviously can be recycled. So now that we're going to the journal, also one thing I wanted to mention are the bookmarks here. Again, I'm super excited about that, because if you look at any of your journals or any of your books, all the bookmarks across all the publishing are made out of polyester. Again, polyester is plastic, so it's going to be here in our environment for 1,000 years. Our bookmarks we've sourced are made out of cotton. So again, cotton is fully compostable material. It does take some time to compost, but it will eventually compost and go back to nature. Anyways, just really wanted to mention these things because this is something we're really passionate about. And, as we create new products at Intelligent Change, sustainability is one of our core values. So I thought it was important to mention that. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do here, of course, I'm just gonna show you, there's quite a few illustrations and quotes as you go into the journal. But the main thing as you start the journal is, of course, the year-end review. And, obviously, as you start the journal, it gives you, explanation on why you should do it. And I'll just share with you a few things here as I'm filming this video. We realized that any successful person we came across, whether in person or virtually, like Tony Robbins, for example, who was a huge inspiration for us, all of these people have a practice that they do every year. And again, it's a practice that involves reviewing the year and also planning the year ahead. And oftentimes you may already be doing this kind of year-end review at your work. It's very common to do this for a career. Professionally, people do this, but we think it's even more important to do this personally, because in this journal, not only will you look at your career, but you will look at your well-being, your relationships. Every aspect of your life will be covered in this journal. And the reason that's important is because at the end of the day, what matters is you as a whole, as a human, are happy with every area of your life. Because if you're just succeeding in one area of your life, oftentimes you won't be fully fulfilled and happy because the other areas of your life are suffering. And this journal, this practice will allow you to, mindfully, intentionally set goals every year. And also as you're reviewing the year, you're learning a lot about your past lessons, what makes you happy, the little things and the big things. So it makes you more mindful every single year. And again, I know this because as I do this every year, I notice certain patterns. I get to know myself better. It's truly incredible. So again, the first thing is to review the year. And part 1, reflection and gratitude. And first we'll start with a really quick review. I'll read out the questions, and if you're writing it down, you can write it down. If you need to pause it at any point, pause it. Again, cheers, drink your tea as well. And take a break once in a while. So the journal starts with just the quick review, and then it goes into in-depth review. So the 5 top questions in the first page is, what are the top 5 happiest moments of the past year? Again, when filling out the journal, it's really important to be in a quiet place where you can have your own time. And when to do this journal? I'm posting this video, it's the end of December, and oftentimes Alex and I do this at the end of the year or the beginning of the year in January, but you don't have to do it at the end of the year. You can literally do this at any time of the year. Maybe when it's your birthday, you kind of start the year then. Maybe you can do this beginning of spring, because spring is always like a fresh start. You can always do it, of course. End of December is always a great time. This is when most people set affirmations for the following year, or maybe some goals or dreams. But again, oftentimes when people set affirmations, they actually don't follow through because there is no system. And this journal is basically that system. So top 5 happiest moments of the past year, and then you list them. What small things I've enjoyed doing the most during day to day? And then there's a few lines there. And I think, again, here you want to reflect, but you don't want to spend too much time on this, because you want to kind of go with what's the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't overthink it, but kind of go with that first inclination and that first thought that comes to you. So what are some small things that I've enjoyed the most during the day to day of my life? And these are small things like maybe going to the park, or going to the coffee shop for a coffee, or making your own matcha latte at home, whatever it is that gives you joy in your life. Now, the next question is, what did I do for the very first time in my life last year? So again, reflect on something that you've done this year that you've never done before. And as I'm thinking about this question, actually, I know for myself, it was spending 5 weeks in countryside. I've always lived in big cities. I've never spent so much time, in a smaller village. So for me, that was definitely a new experience that I quite enjoyed, and I learned a lot about myself during those 5 weeks. So then the next question is main lesson of previous year. So here again, you reflect on overall main lesson that kind of stands out as you think about that. And the last question is highlight of the year. So if you reflect on the year, what is that one thing that really stands out, that was really positive, that brought you joy this year? This section specifically focuses on gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most important things in life. As you guys already know, I'm a big advocate for gratitude because when you focus on what you have, you always attract more in your life. You're happier, you have better relationships, you have more energy. You come from a place of abundance rather than a place of scarcity. And that's why we start this year-end review with the gratitude. So what are you grateful for? Reflect back on the past 12 months of the year and think of all the things that you're grateful for or the experiences that you've had in the previous year that you're grateful for. Now, the next question is definitely one of my favorites as I review the year is, what are your magical moments? So here you reflect on all the little moments in the previous year that were magical. And it doesn't have to be a milestone. So we're not talking about your accomplishments or anything big. It could be maybe a sunset that you witnessed or a sunrise that you witnessed that maybe brought you joy or brought tears to your eyes. Maybe it was a dance that you danced by yourself, at home when nobody was watching. Maybe it was a very special cuddle that you had with your partner or your child. It really are the small magical moments that here you're describing. And sometimes when I have a block or I can't think of too many, because really here, you want to be listing at least 25, I think. Like, imagine the year is 365 days. And if we really pay attention, there's quite a lot of magical moments. So if you're having a hard time remembering them, sometimes going back to your phone and going through the picture, because oftentimes when we have a magical moment, we snap it. Whether it is the sunset, the sunrise, the special time with our friends or family, we oftentimes will take pictures of them. So this can remind you of those times that were magical. And again, these are the moments, not accomplishments, that we're looking at. The special little moments that made you happy, brought you joy, and all of that. Now, moving on to the next. What steps have you taken to maximize your well-being? So in this section, you're kind of reflecting on some progress that you've had in your personal life. Maybe you have a better eating routine. Maybe you started packing lunch to work. Maybe you started cooking. Maybe you never cooked before and now you're actually cooking for yourself. Maybe you started practicing yoga or exercising. Anything that goes under that umbrella of well-being is something you would be listing here. Maybe you started going to bed earlier. I mean, the list goes on. I'm holding it like this, but I'm not really sure if you guys can see it that far. But anyways, I'll keep holding it like that just to give you the space that normally you would have to fill in and answer that question. So the next question is, how have you moved closer to a major life goal? So some goals take more than a year to accomplish. Some take years, maybe writing a book or making a film or starting a business or finishing or graduating university or college. So these are the really big goals that take a long time. And here you can talk about and discuss, like, how did you get closer to getting to that goal? And use the space to review your long-term life goals and reflect on whether you have moved closer to achieving them. So this gives you a lot of reflection on whether, you have been doing the things that truly matter. And if you haven't, then again, it's that reflection and honesty. It's kind of like having an honest conversation with yourself here, where you really, once you fill this out, you really see where you stand and where you need to go next. All right, moving on to the next questions. And if, again, at any point you need to pause, write them down, or fill it in your journal, and then continue as I will go through many more. Next question is, who has helped or supported you and how? So again, you want to think about the past 12 months and think of all the people who have been helpful to you on your journey in the previous year. And then, as you write down their names and how they've been helpful to you, it would be incredible if you could pick up the phone, again, pause the exercise. And that's why I said this exercise might take some time, a few days, or maybe a few weeks. I usually do it, I'm quite intense. I usually do it in a couple of days. But, the whole journal is something you'll be using throughout the year, because then there's the follow-up goal section, which is gold. This is something we didn't do up until last year. With this one, as you review the people who have helped you, it is so important to, again, express our gratitude, not just feel good and think like, oh, that was amazing. Like, my uncle did this incredible thing for me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. Or maybe your mom, or maybe your friend. But actually expressing it to them is the most important thing that can also build your relationship, improve your relationship, People love getting appreciation for the good things they do. So that's really important to start practicing that in your life. And again, this section allows you to do that. You can either send them an email. I think the best thing to do is maybe schedule a meeting and actually tell them in person. If you can't do that for whatever reason, you can just pick up your phone and call them and tell them, how you appreciate that gesture, or whichever way they have, just expressing that. And you could do that obviously in person, in a letter, maybe like the old-fashioned way, writing a really nice pen paper letter and mailing it to them. I think would be really cool. It's not something that people expect, but I think it's so nice to get a thank you card every once in a while. But the best thing, of course, would be to meet in person or have a phone conversation where you can truly express that to them. Moving on to the next question, which is, what have you achieved professionally? So here you're looking at your professional life, and you use the space to list your professional achievements and accomplishments. This may be large or small, and from delivering a presentation to being selected for promotion to any other little or big milestones that you have achieved in the previous 12 months. So you have all the space to do that. Now, part 2. So we've reviewed the previous year, and now we're looking at the knowledge gain, because every year, if we stop and think, we learn quite a lot. But it's that practice of stopping and thinking and reflecting and writing it down that makes us more aware and makes us more mindful in this whole process. So super excited. I love this section as well, because there's always so many insights that come out of it. Your top 5 life lessons. What lessons have you learned from the challenges you have faced over the last year? So again, you start thinking of all the events that have happened in the previous year. Maybe they were positive, maybe they were difficult, whatever it is that you have faced in the previous year. What are the top 5 life lessons? So here you're focusing on the life lessons and not professional lessons, because we'll have a different section for that. I can share one life lesson right now, actually. I'll try to give examples a little bit here and there, not to make the video super long, but as I'm thinking about this year in particular, I'll say the top lesson for me was definitely learning to slow down. It's something that I've been learning, I think, for the past few years, but this year specifically. I remember sometime in June, especially, I just had to see this lesson. I was running around and I hurt my toe, and I just remember thinking to myself, you need to slow down. Like, this accident happened because you've been running around. Just slow down as you do things. And ever since June, I've just been intentionally slowing down, not just with big things in life, but even walking, eating, doing anything around the house. I'm just trying to do everything at a much slower pace, because oftentimes I notice that I hurt myself when I rush. Even like when I cook, I try the food too quickly and I burn my tongue. So these are just the small things, but we do the same thing with the big things in life. So slow down is a big lesson of mine this year. And then, yeah, you want 5 of those here. Now, the next section is also about your career. So your top 5 career lessons. This is a great time to, again, sit and reflect on all the professional experiences you've had in the previous years, what you have learned, and the biggest 5 lessons. So similar thing here, expand and really go deep, because that's the whole point of this exercise. Now, the next is, what disappointments did you face? Because we all face disappointments all the time. Every year, there's things happen that we don't expect, and then we get disappointed. And with those disappointments, we often learn a lot if we pay attention. So make a list of all the roadblocks and all the challenges you have faced over the past 12 months and the disappointments you have encountered. How do you feel looking back at these events? Can you now view them with more clarity? So again, this whole exercise is to see more clearly why these things happen in your life and have more reflection there. Now, the next question is, what are you willing to leave behind? And again, this is a really powerful part of the exercise, because as you do this, you want to be really honest with yourself. What is holding you back? What fears? What limiting beliefs? What perhaps relationships in your life are weighing and holding you back from being the person that you envision to be or you believe yourself to be. Maybe in your imagination you're this, powerful, strong, successful person, but yet that's not the reality that you're living. And then if you truly honestly look at your life and your beliefs or maybe your relationships, you will see that there are things and people and maybe the limiting beliefs that are holding you back. So this is the place to be really honest about the things and the people and the experiences that you need to let go of to move on to the next year lighter and better in every way. So this is a truly powerful thing to do. And again, we give a little exercise on, like a sort of a meditation of once you list those things, kind of sitting still for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and kind of imagining how you're letting go. Maybe it's a resentment that you've had, anger that you've had for someone that you haven't expressed. Either you have to express it or you have to just let go of that resentment, let go of that judgment, let go of that limiting belief, let go of that fear, and literally imagine yourself letting go. Now, we're moving into part 3. I think I've been going at a good pace. So this is an exciting part because this is the part where you start thinking about the vision and having more clarity about the next year, the following year that we're about to enter. A little tea break. All right, so as you plan the year ahead, again, this doesn't have to be a calendar year. This could be at any time of the actual calendar year. It could be your birthday, it could be March, could be June, summer, any time of the year. But again, you want to do this exercise kind of every 12 months. So if you do this in June, make sure you do this every year about the same time. Or if you do this in December, you want to do this every year in December. So as you're creating the vision for the next year, it is so important to have a theme, and it really is going to help you imagine and have that vision more clearly in your mind and in your imagination. So what we encourage you to do is choose a word or a phrase that describes what you want to accomplish and let this inspire your activities for each day, each week, and each month. So your theme could be anything from serenity to balance. It could be literally anything. It could be one word or two words, but it's really super personal to what you specifically want to experience. Maybe for you it is abundance because you want to create more financial abundance or abundance of all sorts. So it is very individual. I don't want to put too many examples out there. We have some here, but basically, anything that again you want to be the theme of your whole year. Maybe it is creativity because you want to create more things and be more creative. Maybe it is business, maybe it is family, whatever it is super personal and individual to you, and there's no right or wrong way to do this because every life and every experience is so different and unique in its own way. Now, once you have that theme, you want to create a vision. So imagine yourself a year from now, write down everything you would like to have achieved and the milestones you would like to have reached in the last 12 months. Write in the past tense as if your achievements have already happened. Ask yourself, what does success look like to me? How do I feel about the past year? What excites me? What are the most important things in my life right now? Who are the people that matter the most to me? What gives me the most pleasure in my day-to-day life? So again, this is just creating the vision and truly starting to see where you would be in 12 months from now, and how you will be and with who you will be. And this truly is the magic because as you create the vision, your brain is so powerful, it will find ways for you to get there. Obviously, there's more you're gonna do, but the vision is like the compass that will take you there. And without the vision, again, you cannot do any of these things because the vision is the most powerful part of this whole exercise. All right, now we get to the nitty-gritty of things. So we are actually going into different areas of our life and thinking of the specific goals we want to achieve in the next 12 months. So use the space to set yourself measurable and attainable goals. So this is a really important part of this exercise, is that these are the things that have to be tangible. You cannot just say, oh, I want to be happier. You know, it has to be more specific than that and more measurable than that. So the first one, actually, it does starts with health and well-being. And, you know, the reason we start with this, there will be many other areas of life that this whole section will cover. But the reason we'll start with health and well-being is because health and well-being is the most important thing that we have to focus on in our life. If we're not healthy and we're not physically, mentally, emotionally well, then none of the other things in our life matter. We cannot enjoy our relationships. We cannot enjoy our professional success. So it's really important to reverse that, because I feel like oftentimes now in the modern world, we prioritize things that are in fact least important, you know, like career achievements. But again, if we are successful, but we don't have good relationships, we don't have a good relationship even with ourselves, or we're not physically healthy, then what good is it to have all that money in the bank account if you're not physically healthy or mentally or emotionally healthy? So prioritize health and well-being. And in this section, you want to set specific measurable goals for your health and well-being. So what are you going to do this year to take care of your precious body? How do you want to feel physically? How will you nourish yourself? How will you ensure that you have enough energy? Keep in mind that in order to accomplish all of the other goals on your list, you will need an abundance of energy, and energy comes from having a healthy and nurtured body. So in this section, again, don't want to give you two examples because I don't want you to write down the things that I'm about to tell you, but some things that you might want to write here is, you know, maybe go to sleep earlier or start exercising, or like anything, again, that goes in under that umbrella of health and well-being for you. Now, the next section for goal setting is self-growth, and it is so important through life to continue learning and growing. It is proven now that as we learn and grow, it's so beneficial for our overall mental and emotional well-being. We feel happier, our brain is healthier if we keep learning new things. So it's really important to set intentions and goals in this section as well. So ask yourself the following questions. What am I going to do this year to expand my mind? What do I want to learn? What specific skills do I want to attain? What do I want to read? What events do I want to attend? What people do I want to be around? How can I maintain a positive mindset? So here you want to make sure that you're brave and you set big goals that will inspire you to get outside of your comfort zone. Now, the next section is giving and contributing. It may sound counterproductive, but by helping others, we can often help ourselves in the process. And, you know, it is proven now that when you help others, oftentimes you solve your own problems. You feel more fulfilled in your life. You feel more joyous, more happier in every way. So this is, you know, about thinking in which ways you can contribute to your community and the society as a whole. Maybe you know, you're going to commit to volunteering once a week or once a month, or you're going to do a beach cleanup, or any other initiatives that can contribute our planet and other human beings, or maybe animals. So this is about giving back. The reason it comes quite early in the goal setting is because it is proven to have a positive impact and make us feel more successful and feel like we belong and have a purpose in this life. So moving on to the next section is love and romance. Again, relationships are so important in our lives. All relationships, but specifically the relationship with our partner. In this section, if you are in a relationship, you want to think of goals of how you can improve your existing relationship, and ways of how you can improve your, again, attainable ways. So maybe it is setting up monthly dates or monthly walks, or maybe it is cooking for your partner once a week. Anything that you believe will improve your relationship that is attainable. And also, if you're not in a relationship, again, here is your chance. I'll read a little bit because it's a big paragraph that explains how to properly do it. So if you're not in a relationship and you would like to find a partner in the coming years, set this as one of your goals. Consider the personality traits that you would like your future partner to have. What communication style works best for you? Energy level? How about attitude to risk and adventure? So if you are envisioning that one of your goals would be to meet your partner, you want to be very descriptive of how you envision this partner, what he or she will be like, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, in every possible way that matters and is important to you. Now, the next goal setting section is family and friends. Community is extremely important to our well-being. So what do you do about all your relationships in your life? What are they like? What do you want to do to improve them? And again, I'll just read a little bit about this section now. What are the steps you want to take to improve your relationships with your friends or family? Would you like to establish new friendships? When we're busy with work and demands of day-to-day life, it's easy to set our relationship aside. Another day goes by when we haven't checked in with loved ones or turned off our screens and spent quality time with our friend. If there are changes you would like to make in the area, list them as goals and schedule time to attend to them as you would to a business meeting. So again, here you may want to list goals like, seeing your parents once a week if you no longer live with them, or if you're far away from them, then maybe calling them twice a week at a certain time. It has to be specific and it has to be measurable. If you would like to meet more friends, then perhaps it is, writing down that I would like to make 2 new friends this year, and this is what they would be like. I want them to be inspiring and uplifting and positive. And maybe one of your goals would be to spend more time with your children, and then you can elaborate more on how you want to do that. Will you set aside a specific time of when you're gonna, have an undivided time with your child or children, where you put the phone away, you turn the screens off, and you just play, or you cook together, or you do other fun activities that will bring you together. So that's the section for that. The next goal setting section is about creativity and learning. Would you like to learn a new skill or enhance your knowledge in a particular area? Maybe you want to improve your public speaking, learn to paint. So anything about creativity and learning here, be specific. Any certain skills that you'd like to learn or improve on would be listed here. And again, creativity and learning can bring us so much joy, and oftentimes they don't really cost anything. It's things that you can do at home on your own time. Now, the next section is about spirituality. I'll just read a quote here. And again, we have really amazing, inspiring quotes throughout the whole journal. Everything you want is just outside of your comfort zone. And this is by Robert G. Allen. And, doing this exercise is going to challenge you, or doing this whole practice. I've been doing this for many years, and even though I do this every year, I still have a bit of resistance before I do it, because I'm like, oh, it's so much work, and I know the amount of work and like internal work I'll have to do to complete this whole exercise. But when I finish it, I always feel lighter, I always feel wiser, I always feel more clear about who I am, where I'm going, and I always feel more grateful and happier. So I definitely recommend for you all to stick around, continue the whole process of this journal. So the next goal setting section is spiritual. Whether you are religious or spiritual, doesn't really matter. Whatever this means to you will be individual to every person. So working on our spiritual selves isn't necessarily about religion. Spirituality encompasses our beliefs and values. It is intrinsically linked with self-awareness and can be a wonderful journey of self-discovery. So ask yourself what spiritual practices you would like to begin or maintain, and how much time you would like to dedicate to them. So for me, for example, I know one thing I'm going to list here is meditation. It's something that I've been doing for years, but I would definitely love to increase the amount of time. Right now I meditate about once a day for 15 minutes in the evenings, 10-15, some days 30 minutes, but I would like to make it more consistent and longer. So this is definitely one of the goals that's going to go for me in this section. So anything else that it is for you, maybe if you're religious, it would be about prayers. Maybe if you're spiritual, it could be about anything else that you would like to add as a practice and as a goal for that part of the area of your life. Next one, again, extremely important, is time management. So how well do you manage your time? Because at the end of the day, that plays a huge role in how we do everything else in our lives. So do you often feel that there aren't enough hours in the day? Are you often late for appointments or events? Are you able to spend enough time doing what you love? Lack of time is often cited as a reason for not reaching our desired goals. So basically here you want to do, what changes you can make to readjust the balance. This could be as simple as organizing a weekly grocery delivery rather than driving to the store, or fitting a run into your lunch break rather than working out after you leave the office to give you more time to spend with your children at the end of the day. Small changes can make biggest difference here. So again, you want to think about ways that you can manage your time better and more efficiently. But again, it has to be tangible and measurable. So keep that in mind, and you've got enough space to do that there. Next, happiness. Happiness is an important part of life because again, at the end of the day, if you're doing all the other things, but you're really honest with yourself and you're not really happy about who you are, what you're doing, or who you're with, then you need to be honest with yourself. Something needs to be faced or changed. So this is an area for reflection as you do this goal setting exercise. So ask yourself honestly and truthfully, how happy were you last year? Obviously, we can't all be happy all the time, but you want to be honest with yourself because it is important. When you are happy, it's a good sign that you're on the right track. And if you're not, it's a good sign that you're not on the right track and there's things in your life that you need to change. So here's a really important opportunity for you to really open up and go deeper with yourself. So your moments of joy might come when you're relaxing at home with a good book, or you might feel at your happiest when you're socializing with friends. Whatever it is that lights you up, set goals to do more of these things that make you happy. So again, be more intentional and more mindful about things that you already written maybe in the journal before. Maybe you reflect back on the magical moments or the highlight of the year, and think of how you can have more of that in your life in this year that is coming up. So set small goals to read more or go for walks more, or whatever it is that brings you joy and makes you happier. So the next section is sleep. Sleep is so crucial to not just physical well-being, but also our mental, cognitive well-being. For years, I remember going to a nutritionist years ago, and the first thing he told me, he said, you can eat whatever you want, you can take all the supplements, but 50% of your health is how well you sleep. And it just stuck with me, that realization. So it's really important to be honest with yourself about your sleeping patterns and sleeping habits, and set goals on how you can improve them. So again, a paragraph explaining that, talking more about sleep. Your sleep goals could be as simple as leaving your phone in a different room when you go to bed, using earplugs to block out an external noise, or going to bed 30 minutes early to give your body and mind time to unwind. Make this the year that you will prioritize good sleep. The next section for the goal setting is professional. What do you want to achieve in your professional life? Again, this is quite unique for everybody. We all do different things in our lives. But here, if you don't have a job, maybe it is envisioning the job that you want to find, or the opportunity that you want to create within an organization that you're already part of. Maybe it is creating your own business or a side hustle. Whatever it is for you, this is the area where you would list those professional goals. Now, moving on to the last section is financial goals. So here's where you would sort of reflect on your current financial state and set the goals for the next year, whether it is maybe saving more money or making more money, or investing your money. So anything that goes under the umbrella of finances. And again, these have to be tangible goals that you can at the end of the year see if you have achieved or not. I'll just read a little bit of what this section says. So is there anything you'd like to change? Set firm, achievable goals with a timeline for attainment, such as committing to saving 10% of your income every month, setting yourself a limit for non-essential spending every quarter, or working out a debt management program with an end date for when you would like to be debt-free. So again, we all have unique financial situations, and this is where you would face them and set the proper goals for your personal situation. Now, the really exciting part is, once you set up these goals, you have the timeline for the next year, and you have the theme for the year. You have, as you go back to every goal, you set the goals for every month. So obviously you won't be able to do everything in January, but as you go through the whole year and all the goals, you kind of start jotting them down. Like you'll start running in January, but then you'll start another goal later on, or perhaps you'll move them around as you go through the year. So again, it will be very individual process, but here is a section where, you know, you'll get to do that. Now, next is a really important part, which is something we weren't doing the first few years of when we were doing this exercise and practice, is actually the action plan. Because without the action plan, you don't follow through on the goals that you made. You kind of think you remember them and they're important, but then if you don't schedule things, they're not going to happen. So that's why we created this really valuable section and this action plan that goes at the end. I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see, but again, if you go on our website, we'll give lots of examples of these pages that you can see up close if you don't have the physical journal, and perhaps for whatever reason you're not able to get one and you want to create your own in a notebook. You'll see an up close example because I'm not sure you can see anything. But basically, you know, you have the focus area of which area of the goal it is. Then you write the goal down. For example, here, it's one of the examples is overcome social media addiction, which I think should be everybody's goal this year. Then your why. It's really important to connect to why you want this, why you want to accomplish this. Like, why does this matter in your life? Because if you don't connect to the why, you won't be compelled to do it. So the why here is to feel more calm and present in day-to-day life. Then supporting actions and tasks. Cut down screen time on the phone to 2 hours a day maximum. Every week, take a day off social media from Friday evening to Saturday evening. I'm sure you can guess by now that this was my goal previous year, and I can say that I have now achieved it. Those of you who follow me on Instagram know that, you know, I weekly, for more than a year now, have been taking Friday to Saturday off social media, and it's been amazing. And then I even take a whole week off, you know, now twice, or I want to take it more, at least twice a year, a whole week off all social media, which has been an incredible experience, just to unplug and, you know, disconnect to connect with myself. So then, you know, you want to write down supporting actions and tasks. So you really want to go into of the details of how you are going to achieve this goal. You need to understand that it's going to take some work, or maybe reaching out for help or getting certain tools for you to be able to achieve this particular goal. Supporting actions and tasks here was cut down screen time on the phone to 2 hours a day. You know, every week take a day off social media. So this is something I read. And then the resources that I will need is using screen time on my phone and allowing my partner to set the password. Actually, that came from Alex. This is something that he does. I personally don't use that, the screen time, but again, this is something that can work for many of you, is actually having the password and giving it to somebody. But anyways, this is just an example. And then another goal area. So again, you list the goal, you list your why, you list your supporting actions and tasks. You list the resources that you will need in order to achieve the goal. You list the timeline. So, you know, is it every month for the rest of the year, or is it, you know, one specific month? Maybe it's a specific goal that you just do for a period of time. So then you have a lot of these pages here to be able to set all of these goals and strategies on how you will achieve every single one of these. Now, moving on, I wanted to share this quote with you because it's so beautiful. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Because all change starts here within. Now, the last section of this journal is super cool. It's about staying on track and reviewing every month your monthly progress. This is the section. First, you have the priority list, and you kind of look at all the goals that you've made for the year, but you think about the 5 that if you were to achieve these, your year would have been successful. So you kind of have to be honest with yourself about the most important 5 goals out of all of the ones that you've listed, because there's going to be probably quite a few, and list them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have some area for notes, and then the very last section is the monthly review, which again is super useful as you will be doing this exercise and practice every year. So every month you go and write down the highlight of the month. So whatever happened that month, that was the highlight. Then most memorable moments of the month, there's 3. This month I was grateful for, and you write down anything that you're grateful for that month that has passed. top personal life lessons of the month, top career lessons, and you list 3 for each. So top 3 life lessons for that month, and top 3 life lessons for the career lessons for the month. And then the last section is goal process. What progress have you made on your set out goals for this month? This is an important section to keep track of your goals and the traction that you have with accomplishing them. So this is a really important pages really, because you'll get 1 for each month, because if you follow this through, then as you're following and doing this exercise the following year, it's going to be really easy for you to fill in the year, because you can refer back to the lessons, you can refer back to the magical moments. So the first time you do it, it might take you a long time because it's the first time you're doing such exercise, but also you might not. I think it's quite an individual experience for every single one of us. Alex takes a much longer time when he does it, and I usually, like I said, I take about 2 days. I make sure my evenings are free, and I just like dive right in, and I don't do anything else on those evenings. I make sure I have some food with me, and I just take breaks. I have tea next to me like I do now, and I'm just writing, thinking, reflecting, and goal setting. And it's truly something that can make a huge difference in your life. Like I said in the beginning of this video, having this with you throughout the year will make you more intentional with every single decision, with every single step, more mindful and more clear about where you are, where you're going, and why you're even here. So thank you again for watching this super long video and sticking around with me. I'm sure you've written it all down and you're gonna do this exercise. I believe you will, and you're gonna create a better you, and you're gonna create a better world, because when we create a better us, that energy and that positivity and that success spreads onto other people and the rest of the world. So I wish you best of luck on your journey with your best year journal, and I wish you the best year ever. Thank you again for being here. And I'm gonna link all the links on where you can get the actual physical journal down below. If you watch this video, it'll just be in the info box. And yeah, thank you again. Lots of love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.